Hello everybody, welcome back, and I'm so glad that you've made it this far. Keep up, don't quit, keep studying, ask me questions, do something, just don't quit. Alright, so when you're developing websites, you want to be able to size stuff appropriately. And you can do this with CSS, obviously, and well, you can decide to, alright, let me just show you. We can go paragraph, and then we can go size 10 pixels. So if we increase this to 100 pixels, oops, it doesn't do anything. So I need you to do font size, I'm sorry. So now that's a little too big. Alright, so we can change the size of these paragraphs here by changing the font size. And as you can see, I'm using this thing that says 10px. And if you don't know what that is, that's a pixel. So what is a pixel? It's pretty much like a dot. Like back in the old days, like you have those CRT monitors, and like pretty much a pixel is like one of the little dots from the screen, and basically 10 pixel font, basically 10 pixel size, which I mean now obviously it's adjustable, so it's kind of a lie, but anyways, that's a form of measurement. So there's also other forms of measurement, and which ones to use depends on the situation. So most commonly I use pixels, so I measure things in pixels. I want larger text, I'll use 32 font. If I think the titles are too big, I can give it H1, and then I can change the font size to 10 pixels. So now my titles aren't going to be like ginormous, they're going to be actually really small. A little too small, to be honest. So I'm going to crank that back up to be 20. Alright, so the average text size is 16, so like I'm pretty sure the default is 16. Let me see. 16 pixels. Alright, so this right here, 16, and then if I delete it, you can see it stays the same. So the default paragraph text is 16 megapixels. Not megapixels, just pixels. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. So let's try and figure out what H1 is. Well, we could say font size 24 pixels. And you can see it shrinks a little, so it's probably a little bigger. 30 pixels. Alright, that might be it. Let's try deleting it and seeing if it changes. Alright, it got a little bigger still, so let's go 32 pixels. And boom. I think I just figured out the default font size for H1 titles is 32 pixels. So, as I said, pixels is just one way to measure it. There's also, we have what are called EMs. I don't even know what it stands for. And then we have percent, and then we have points. I wonder what EM stands for. Let's look it up. What does EM stand for in CSS? Alright, I don't think that one's the right page. Right here, let's look at here. Alright, I have no idea. So, yeah, EM, it stands for now, I'm just going to say it stands for electronic media, because I can't think of anything else. So, I'm sorry, I've been talking for like so many hours straight now. My throat's kind of sore. So we have EMs, electronic medias, percents, and points. Now points, that's like when you're in Microsoft Word or something and you see like 72 point. Like the font size 72 in Microsoft Word is the equivalent of 72 point in CSS. That's supposedly 1 inch on paper. So 72 point is supposedly 1 inch when you print out paper. So now we have all of these things. So I'm pretty sure you can also use inches and centimeters, and there's a couple others, but I'm just going over these ones for now. So we can have points, and then we can have pixels. It's px for now. Alright, so we're going to compare these. Obviously, pixels, we already talked about that one, and points, we already talked about that one. EMs, on the other hand, that's almost like a percent. So if you, 12 point, if you have 12 point font, 16 pixels, that is 1 EM. So the default is 16 pixels, like I said up here, for the first paragraph. This is the equivalent of 12 points. Alright, so I could say font size 12 pt and it should stay the same. You see what I'm saying? So that's that. Now, that's equivalent to 1 EM, the default. If we want to double that, let's change it to 1 EM. Boom, it stays the same. We want to double that size, we change it to 2. So it's almost like a percent sign. It's almost from going from 100% to 200% by doubling it. So if your default font size for, let's say, H1 is 32 pixels, and we put EM, 1 EM, 1 electronic media, it goes back to that size. So that would be 16 font, I believe. Yes, that was what we decided was the default. So as you can see, these are the same. The only difference is bold. So that is a relative measurement from 16 pixels. Although if we change the font, it can screw things up. So font, let me think. How to change the font? It would be font family, right? Tahoma. Alright, so now we have a different font family. Alright, and then we go to 1 EM. This is 1 EM in Tahoma, but if we go back to times, let me just erase it. You can see the size actually shrinks. But if we are in 16 pixels, and then we go Tahoma, that's just the type of font. This is with 16 pixels Tahoma. We get rid of it. And this is 16 pixels normal. So, yeah, that's that. Re-add that back in, see the difference one more time. Alright, so now we kind of understand a little bit. EMs are sort of like a percent from 16. And then we also have percent, which obviously that's a pretty obvious one. Here's a little conversion chart I found online somewhere, I don't know. pxtoem.com. Oh, pix to EM. Alright, that makes sense, sorry. So 16 pixels, 1 EM, 100%, 12 point. And you can kind of get this conversion in your head. So 16 pixels times 2 would be 32. So I'm guessing 32 pixels would be 2 EM. Hopefully that makes sense. That's the idea between EM, pixels, percents, and points. And it kind of depends. If you want to do things in percents, it might be better for cell phones and tablets and so forth. For app development, although if you're developing websites, you might want to use pixels or EM. It just depends. I'm going to be using pixels for the rest of this series. I doubt I'll be using anything else. I might use percents, but we'll just have to see. So that's all I really need to say about pixels, EMs, percents, and points. And in the next video, we will be talking about something new. Let's go font style and weight. So I will see you then. Thank you and subscribe.